So there is no two way in saying that a very significant meeting took place between Indian Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi and President of US Donald Trump. The kind of agreements, announcements which have come up will have a larger effect on the worldview, on the geopolitics, and more so on the relationship between India and the US. And to break it down for you people, to simplify whatever it had been, and to read between the lines, we have our National Bureau Chief, Jayant with us, and he is also editor of the Foreign Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs he covers. So Jayant, I'll bring you in here, and for the sake of audience, can you simplify the kind of announcement and the agreements which have been made? Yeah. And it has geopolitics, it has international relations, and it has defense in it.
Yeah, it has everything in it. So it's like, I think it's a new deal for the Trump era. So because Trump is a different kind of a politician, different kind of a president, so you have to have a different kind of a deal system to work around Trump. So if you look at the press conference, there was an interesting question to Prime Minister Modi. Somebody asked, what deal did you crack with Elon Musk? And Modi, on a lighter vein, told the person who asked this question, if there is one person who has complete copyright over the word deal, that is Donald Trump. So that is very true. So in one sentence, it is like a new deal for the Trump era that we have seen. So it is primarily driven by the American. Trump has already said you have to buy more defense equipments from us. So buying more from Americans in terms of defense, national security, etc. So that is done, number one. Number two is they have a huge concern about tariffs. So India has a huge trade surplus with America. So Trump is not someone who will go easy on it. So in fact, when Prime Minister Modi was in Washington, just hours before he met him, he announced a reciprocal tariff. That is like, if you charge us 25% on something, we will also charge you 25%. So that is like reciprocity. So I think to address that, they have announced a trade deal. In fact, this trade deal was proposed when he was president in the first term also. So this trade deal, basically to address these concerns, 7 to 8 months, the first part of the deal will be announced. So these are the two big things to look at. Then the similar things like stepping up cooperation, nuclear energy, small modular reactors, minerals. So all that is in the offing. But I think mainly it will be driven by these two things. And also there are concerns about mobility, illegal immigration and all that. And that also they are trying to address these issues, because already India has said that as long as these people illegally staying there are Indians, India will take them back. There is no issue there. So I think all in all, so it was a good visit to have. Yeah.
And to bring before you, there were important announcements about co-development of Spiker, which is a infantry combat vehicle, and it carries the mechanized infantry into the war zone. Also, what has come up is Javelin, which is a top-down attack missile, anti-tank missile actually, ATGM. It is a guided missile, and which India needed definitely for itself. Now that significance has to be understood, and add to it is actually long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft, which is Poseidon 8 India. I is India, and six of them will be added. We have in two tranches, we have 12 of them actually. Now to make our people understand that this missile thing and Spiker thing is important, because having 2020 May in mind, which is Eastern Ladakh, the standoff between India and China, we had based a lot of armored equipment, which is our tanks, ICVs, into the valleys, like 5 valleys towards the Arunachal Pradesh, and then there are 4 or 5 valleys towards middle sector, which is Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, and further valleys in Eastern Ladakh, which is Demchok, Chusul, and that area. Now, basing your equipment there. And Nag is a missile which is under development. Yeah. India is trying to develop it. Yeah. It's ATGM, and which has come up successfully in the recent time. So you need a man-packed, and it can be carried by people which can attack the armored vehicles. That's how it is very important, because these announcements are very important.
And what you have been covering it for a long time. So the Americans have been saying that you will be spending as much as 200 billion on your defense purchases in the coming years. So how much of it can realistically be going to the Americans?
See, when it comes to high-end technology, there is no doubt that in the present context, the military equipment with high-end technology are with the US. and with the kind of reviews which are taking place, like trade regulation, defense equipment regulations, which are done by the Department of Defense of the US, they have agreed to review even that also.
Yeah.
And that means it has some kind of a positive sign that they are ready to transfer some high-end technology. So much of it might go that way. But we need not forget that India has gone the Made in India way, Make in India way.
They have gone the Make in America way also.
Yes, it's an interesting aspect actually. If you
So how you merge these two? Or where is the biomedia?
So if they are saying that they have to make, it has to be done, lots of things have to be done co-jointly actually, co-production. And if not, let's say, having said that, what has to be underlined is high-end technologies generally are not transferred by the equipment makers, original equipment manufacturers. So this has to be kept in mind. And so India will have to go whole hog, full throttle on indigenizing things. But it is very significant.
And also when it comes to technology transfer, many would argue that Russia is your closest partner. One of the reasons is that they will give you any technology you ask for. So you think America can be a reliable partner when it comes to actually getting critical technologies?
This is a very important aspect. And going by the experience, which is like our advanced technology vehicle, which is the nuclear submarines. In that case also, most critical technologies, they have come from Russia. Also in terms of equipment, high profile equipments, they all have come from Russia. But if you see, things are changing because let's say P-8I, C-17, I mean C-130J and all the strategic lift aircrafts which India has, Chinook, which is also a transport aircraft, which is attack helicopters, India is buying actually. And underwater technologies, sonar buoys and all. Important point is actually when you see the review on transfer or trading about the 5th generation fighter, here again what you said should be brought in. Is it about a reaction to what Russia did in Aero India? They announced, they came up, both the aircrafts, which is F-35 and Su-57 were there. But Russians, they came and they said, we are ready to manufacture them.
In India, yeah.
As fast as that tomorrow, if you tell us, as if they were sending the messages, as if they'll start manufacturing tomorrow. So,
but this takes some time. So even if you to get a 5th generation fighter from America, even the American bureaucratic process is longer.
So lots of, I wrote them actually, the International Traffic in Arms Regulations, that Regulation Act, they are saying that they'll review. The other point was reciprocal defense procurement, which is done between two countries. They are ready to review that also, which I said it is a good sign. And let us bring in your point, $200 billion. That means lots of things are going to take place between India and them. Here, let us also bring about autonomous vehicles, which is unmanned air vehicles and all. Yeah. In that case also, they are ready to review that this thing. They are ready for agreement. And lots of co-production things might happen here. Yeah. But can I ask you, and for the viewers' sake, suddenly Donald Trump as a president, who is said to be not a status quoist, he's talking to lot of top leaders of the world. How is international relations and geopolitics changing, and how will it affect India?
I think Trump is upending everything. So if you look at everything, international system, the kind of treatment he is giving to his allies, and the way he praised Russian President Putin, so everybody is thinking, so what is going to happen next? So I think he is changing an international order. You don't have to worry much because you are not part of that international order. This will happen to an international order where Europe and America dominate. So countries like India, if you are India or if you are a global south country, so you were in any way not part of that international order which Trump wants to upset. But the problem with this kind of reciprocal tariff is that it will lead to a global trade war. So India didn't come out openly against reciprocal tariff, but the thing is that if Trump keeps on doing this, there will be political pressure. So look at every country, like China, reciprocal tariff, Canada has announced, European Union has announced. So if you trigger a trade war, so then things will change for you because it will lead to a lot of complications. So in that way, that will be much more dangerous than Trump trying to undo WHO, things like that. So world order is changing, but I think in my view, this world order, changing or not changing, Changing is good for you because you are there, you have got something in it. Because in the existing one, you don't have much in it.
Can we bring in Quad here,
Yeah,
which is very important? Say something about Quad, because there was an announcement about Quad also. The deployment, the agreements and the forces deployment and all. There's something...
Yeah, I think it's, if you look at the optics wise, it's very much there. Look at the first meeting their Secretary of State held after taking over as a Secretary of State. That was the Quad foreign ministers. So optics was very good, but in my understanding, it will be like this. So Quad is primarily targeting Russia, whether you like it or not, whether you will openly say it or not.
China, you mean China?
Sorry, Russia. Don't
China.
Russia, China. So the problem here is that Americans, the way they deal with China, a lot of people now say, like some of the statements even coming from President Trump, Americans under Trump may try to cut a deal with the Chinese. So if that happens and the relationship improves, then the traction that the so-called traction that they are getting will come down. So that all depends on the way America's relation with China goes. If there is a good relation, then Quad will be again on the back street. Otherwise, Quad will be as a talking forum. They will talk about disaster management, but the kind of military or other things that they talk about, that will be taking a hit. But it all depends on how Trump will cut a deal with President Xi.
And that's very interesting actually, because the summit, Quad summit, is supposed to take place this year in India.
That's true, yeah.
And will it be collaboration or only cooperation when it comes to Quad? But as we began, it was really important the way the agreements have been announced, the way the regulations are set to be changed, the way Quad was brought in, the way unmanned aerial vehicles and their transfer of technology and talks are being reviewed. It becomes very important. So, thanks, Jayant.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
We'll keep bringing such programs to make a sense of whatever is happening at the international level, at India and the bilateral forums in different areas. So, thanks and keep watching.
Thank you.